Temple of Deliverance. The truth about G.E Patterson. Temple of Deliverance in Club Paradise. The truth about G.E Patterson. G.E Patterson was viewed as one of Memphis' best preachers in the black community. His church during his time was like the first mega black church, large church in the black community. G.E Patterson was viewed as one of the most powerful black preachers in Memphis during his time, for a long time. Highly respected. A lot of people love G.E Patterson. G.E Patterson had a lot of saints in Memphis under him. A lot of people gave G.E Patterson a lot of their money. I used to stay right next door to some older people. Both of them dead and gone now. But when I was a young man, teenager, growing up, I stayed right next door to an elderly couple. They loved G.E Patterson. Went in their house, that's all you saw, pictures of G.E Patterson. Them and G.E Patterson. They loved G.E Patterson. I never saw what was so special about G.E Patterson. All G.E Patterson did was preach. All G.E Patterson did was take part in this scam that is continuing to go on in the organized church. Truth be told, it's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's still going on. People have been suckered in through generations, through organized churches. They organized church like they did the gangsters back in the day. Organized. This is where they came from. Organized church was influenced by the mafia. All they do is travel around preaching. Jurisdictional prelay and all this sorts of stuff. Supervisor. All these offices they instituted that the Bible does not recognize. I mean, they have all sorts of offices within coaching. They succeeded in turning church into a corporate business. All of them wear suits. All of them look like corporate executives. Every time you see them, they wear suits. They this. G.E Patterson Church is located in the project, Mississippi. Mississippi and Danny Thomas. That church is located right there. You go 2 blocks, 2.5 blocks, 3 blocks east on the other side of the projects. You had back in the day Club Paradise. Back in its heyday, back in the 80s and 90s, Club Paradise was a popular spot for blues concerts. And even up into the early 2000s, Club Paradise was one of the major Southern Soul, whatever, blues club in Memphis. Memphis is a blues city. Memphis is a hip hop city. But they really thrive on churches and blues. G.E Patterson Church is situated right on the right close to Beale Street, really in downtown. I never known G.E Patterson to preach against what was going on at Club Paradise. I never known him to preach against what was going on Beale Street during the weekend. He only preached within the walls of the church. What I'm trying to say, I can't really ever recall G.E Patterson preaching against unholiness in the city. A lot of them club owners, a lot of them dead and gone now. A lot of them got their own clubs in Memphis during them time. Rayford's, downtown, a known gay bar, just a few blocks from G.E Patterson Church. So you got Rayford's, a known gay bar. Then you got Club Paradise on the other side of the church. Never known G.E Patterson to speak out against any sin. He never came outside the church and spoke publicly against all the sin that was going on in Memphis during his time. G.E Patterson was actually friends with a lot of them club owners. Not gonna say he hung out in the club, but back in the day, a lot of them people in Memphis, preachers, club owners, and all them were friends. Yeah. A lot of them blues singers that's dead and gone now, they used to hang out down. They used to hang out at Club Paradise on a regular basis. I know of a lot of stuff that was going on at that club during them days. G.E Patterson never spoke out against the sins and stuff that were carrying on in the city of Memphis. He always preached. They always had something going on. G.E Patterson was part of the problem that we have in now in church. All that preaching you see in coaching and all this stuff, it's just preaching for the reputation of men, preaching for the pocketbook, preaching to the saints all the time. They got them people hung up on the activities that coaches always have going on. That stuff is not important. The church, you can get to a point where you just going through the motion. Cause you see a bunch of preaching and all this, it don't mean that God is at the center. G.E Patterson, Brandon Porter, even all the preachers they have in Memphis now. Frank Ray, he's a Baptist preacher. They ain't never banded together to go out into the city and actually do what the Bible called them to do. Why is it that they always got something going on in the church? You want to see them preach? You want to see some preaching? Come to the church. Dr. Frank Ray preached at Temple of Deliverance on a few occasions. Now, with a city like Memphis that's loaded with preachers, very anointed, powerful preachers during that time and even now, why is it that those same anointed, very powerful preachers are nowhere to be seen until you see them in front of camera preaching? They always preaching somewhere. They always preaching. Something always going on around the Baptist churches, Kojic churches. They message don't go beyond the church walls. Oh, we got TV. People, we got all sorts of stuff. People can see us online, stuff like that. People, that ain't what the Bible called for. You say God called you to preach. You're a shepherd. You're picking up the gospel plow. It's your duty to go out there into the world, like the Bible say, and make disciples of men. You got to go out there and get them. You got to go out there and get those lost sheep. You got to go out there and get them souls. They made a living off of hiding in the church. You can preach. Preaching can become and has become just a sport. Just a pyramid scheme. That's all preaching is about now. A sport and a Ponzi scheme. Every time they open their mouth and preach, best believe they collecting them dollars. Churches are so bogged down in attorneys, in lawyers, and all this sorts of stuff. Church is so bogged down in politics. Organized churches, that's what it's all about, politics. You got an office over here. You got an office over there. You got these folks right here. Ungodly titles been brought into the church, instituted. You got people running around different organizations, holding titles that the Bible don't recognize. Everybody in church want to be important. They selling seats. I heard this even out of their own coaching mouth. Them conventions and stuff y'all go to and y'all attend, them people VIP seats, tickets. I know this to be true. There is always a constant thing of getting rich. That's why they always traveling around. East Coast, West Coast, North and South. Church is not about that. This is not what church is about. Not supposed to be. Got all these members, all that power, but yet they're nowhere to be found in the neighborhoods. Neighborhoods look like trash. All these members. They can get all these members to come to church, follow them, pay all them dues, do all that stuff, but we can't get the churches and the leaders to go out into the neighborhoods and work the neighborhoods, beautify the neighborhoods. Not in the black church. It's all about coming to church, listening to the preaching, and emptying out your pockets. And watching them preachers clown on stage. People thought G.E Patterson was so powerful, so anointed. G.E Patterson was just an ordinary preacher. You take the music away from a lot of these preachers even today, you see how much power they got. G.E Patterson, people put people on a pedestal. Wasn't nothing special about G.E Patterson. He was just a preacher. But let them people tell it. G.E Patterson, people fall out. G.E Patterson, hold it out. They say God, people fall out. Oh, Lord. I mean, when you got him, you got him. He's so anointed. What's so anointed about the man? He's just an ordinary preacher. What's so anointed about him? It's not anointed by the other man down the street that got a small church with hardly 5 members. Is this what we're looking at, the anointed? Count the numbers? The man 2 blocks down the road preaching his heart out there in the community. Out there, I see him. Memphis got some. Memphis had some, brother. Dr. Frank Ray, G.E Patterson, 2 of Memphis' most popular pastors. Brandon B. Porter. I can name some rest. Where are they in the neighborhood? Well, I never seen Dr. Frank Ray out in the neighborhood. I never seen Dr. Frank Ray hardly speak out against anything ungodly. He's a smooth deceiver. Dr. Frank Ray is a smooth heretic. He takes shots at the Bible every time he preaches. People just don't listen. Especially in the Baptist church. They don't really listen in depth and listen what the word. They just listen for the excitement. Yeah. Club Paradise. G.E Patterson never came out and went out and protested against them clubs, against what was going on down on Beale Street. He was friends with a lot of them people, a lot of them old club owners and stuff, promoters back in the day. They were friends. A lot of them belonged to Patterson Church back in the day. It's just the truth of the matter. The anointing is always seen to stop in the church. He anointed by the preachers are anointed in man's eye according to the numbers, what they seeing, the people that follow them. G.E Patterson is like a lot of them culture preachers now. Bishop Wooden making a lot of noise now, but he don't stand up on the doctrines of Christ. Never have. Never have. None of them, even Baptist Church, Frank Ray, he done fell off the doctrines of Christ. He's sitting up there with a bunch of women behind him in the pulpit. I think every one of his children is preachers now. Most of the people in Frank Ray churches are related. He the father. Might be a lot of incest going on in that church. I heard the same thing about G.E Patterson too. I don't put too much out there. Just put out there what I know about Patterson. Patterson was reared as one of the most influential black preachers in the city, but I never known him to have a voice outside the church. He was all about money. He was all about money. He was one of like the first preachers in Memphis that brought cameras into the church. And it blew up from there. Everything G.E Patterson did was all about bringing in money. He started his own record label, recorded them old congregational songs over and over and over again, made lots and lots of money just singing congregational songs. That's what Kojic all about. Keep bringing in that money. Keep turning over that money. That's why I don't follow them Shears or none of them. Bishop Wu. They don't stand up on nothing. Them women in Kojic run around, indulging the world, holding friendship with the world, come in church and try to preach, come in church singing the choir, come in church and do everything. But you still go right back out there during the week, openly involving themselves in the world. And them preachers that go along with it. Every time you hear Bishop Wooden open his mouth, he always preaching against the Democrats and other preachers. Meanwhile, Kojic is littered with problems. Always have had problems. Vincent Matthews in South Haven, Mississippi, he's another Kojic preacher. I always want to talk about the Democrats and politics negatively. Meanwhile, they don't talk about the Republicans. They talk about the stuff that's going on in Kojic. That's why I heard about all the money that Kojic, them people have to pay from Vincent Matthews at them conferences. Thousands of dollars just to attend. Since when did saints have to pay to attend anything that God is doing? Them people on the hook in Kojic, thousands of dollars. They have to pay them dues and all that money to keep up. You go attend that stuff just to sit there in the audience, most of them, and just listen to them preachers preach against one another. That's all it is. Battle each other on the stage. I got them tonight. Last night was mine. I'm gonna get you tomorrow night. That's all they be doing in the back. Battling each other. Kojic do it, Baptist do it, all of them do it. Y'all just taking part in the market.